Hi, movies recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I will clarify an American hero, dramatization, and dream film, called The New Mutants. Danielle Moonstar, who is normally called Donnie, awakens from her rest after the confusion around her home brought about by the Twister. Before long, her dad removes her from the house and runs into the woods to stow away. However, before that she actually figures out how to snatch something in her cabinet. There, her dad conceals her in a tree as he runs back to the town to help the others. A couple of seconds after the fact, she can fall quiet when she gazes at her dad passing on before her eyes. Feeling frightened, she keeps on running further into the woodland, causing her to fall and in the end falls oblivious. Afterward, she feels confounded when she awakens in a strangely vacant clinic with her hands bound. She attempts to look for help, yet out of nowhere Dr. Cecilia Reyes comes to her room. It just so happens, she is the person who runs the unfilled clinic. She then, at that point, solaces Donnie so she can open the cuffs on her hands. Donnie likewise tells the occurrence that happened to her final evening. Along these lines, Dr. Reyes gives her back the neckband that she carried before she went out with her dad the previous evening. It implies a ton to her in light of the fact that the jewelry is the main present from her dad that she has as of not long ago. In the meantime, their discussion is observed by the CCTV in the room. Dr. Reyes likewise illuminates Donnie that in reality she is certainly not a standard person, but instead has remarkable freak DNA. In this way, she exhorts her to stay in this medical clinic until she learns the impacts of her power and how to control them. The following morning, Dr. Reyes accumulates with 4 different youngsters who have remarkable freak DNA like Donnie. There are Samuel Guthrie, otherwise known as Cannonball, Ileana Rasputin, otherwise known as Magik, Roberto D.A. Costa, also known as Sunspot, and Ron Sinclair, otherwise known as Wolfsbane. Dr. Reyes has carried every one of them to the clinic on the grounds that every one of them has encountered, or incidentally caused a horrendous misfortune. Beginning from Sam, who coincidentally imploded a whole coal mine shaft where his dad and associates work, killing them all totally. Roberto inadvertently consumed his sweetheart to no end utilizing his superpower. Ron got away from her faithful Catholic town by killing the minister after he marked her as a witch in light of her superpower, and Ileana was oppressed and physically mishandled as a kid by an animal called the Smiling Men. Every one of them additionally have novel godlike capacities due to changes in their DNA. Roberto can control sun-oriented energy, Sam can fly at stream speed, Ileana has between-layered witchcraft abilities, and Ron's lycanthropy permits her to transform into a wolf. Inevitably, Donnie approaches them and she is presented as the new teen in the emergency clinic. A while later, Dr. Reyes requests that Ileana take Donnie around. As she leaves, Donnie attempts to escape from the spot, yet peculiarly Ileana couldn't care less with regards to her. Simultaneously, a wolf follows her from behind. Tragically, she rather hit a power field encompassing the whole emergency clinic grounds, making her nose drain. Incidentally, Dr. Reyes herself is additionally a strong freak who can control plasma energy power fields, forestalling them 5 from leaving the office. Ileana then, at that point, giggles at Donnie to drive her mad. As a result of it, Donnie needs to hit her, however Ileana promptly utilizes her superpower to avoid. Besides, she returns to the structure and frantically designs self-destruction from the congregation clock tower while the wolf is watching her from underneath. With flawless timing, Ron comes and keeps her from ending it all, bringing their relationship closer. Still around the medical clinic grounds, they meet with Sam, who is rehearsing his superpower. Around evening time, Sam and Robert are visiting in the pantry while being watched by Dr. Reyes from the control room. Meanwhile, Donnie is longing for the episode when her dad was killed, making her genetic energy raised. Back in the pantry, Sam is frightened by one of the clothes washers uttering an unusual sound. Feeling inquisitive, he checks the clothes washer as it returns him to his past where the diggers and his dad are seen. At the point when he needs to return, an excavator unexpectedly endeavors to hit him utilizing a pickaxe, sending him flying savagely from the clothes washer. The following morning, Donnie scrubs down with Ron where she sees a baffling W-like imprint on Ron's shoulder. With practically no clarification, Ron lets her be in the washroom. In the treatment room, them five work on controlling their superpower directed by Dr. Reyes. Thereafter, Illyana unexpectedly estranges Donnie in the lounge area, making them battle. Hence, she needs to cut Donnie with her sword. However, brilliantly Dr. Reyes figures out how to safeguard Donnie utilizing her superpower. Then, at that point, they are both rebuffed by being secured up a detachment room. There, Illyana reviews her past about the Smiley Men, while Donnie daydreams seeing her past and a dark shadow from the sky that appears as though a devil bear. Thusly, Dr. Reyes comes to the room and chooses to take Donnie's blood test for additional review. The following day, the freaks need to play truth game involving the falsehood finder in the loft. In any case, covertly Dr. Reyes is likewise watching them through CCTV. As the outcome, they are reproved by her the following day. Afterward, Illyana figures out how to make Dr. Reyes nods off utilizing drugs. Taking advantage of the chance, they party and have some good times uninhibitedly that evening. Altogether, the five youngsters accept they are being prepared to join the X-Men, under severe oversight. From that point forward, Roberto approaches Illyana who is swimming. After he kisses her, he feels heat on his body since he recalls his previous when he incidentally killed his better half. His sweetheart's singed structure out of nowhere shows up from behind him, making the alert sound which wakes Dr. Reyes. They generally come to the pool and observe Roberto's body is as of now ablaze. Dr. Reyes quickly drives him into the pool so he can get back to business as usual. Roberto then, at that point, ends up being furious and needs to flee from the spot after he discovers that Illyana was intentionally pestering him, yet as indicated by the CCTV film he was in the pool alone, while Illyana was in her separation room. Nonetheless, Dr. Reyes acknowledges what Illyana has done before and chooses to secure her up again in the confinement room. Before long, Ron starts to have frightening genuine dreams of her past misfortunes. Unexpectedly, she is getting marked on the shoulder by a similar priest whom she had recently killed, making her chance into a wolf. From that point onward, Illyana concludes that the dreams are the outcome of Donnie's powers showing themselves the capacity to actually show fears, deceptions, or then again different contemplations from an individual's brain. Feeling upset, she quickly chokes Donnie and takes her to the limbo. However, fortunately Dr. Reyes can infuse a narcotic into Illyana. The next day, Donnie comes to Illyana's space to return her hand mannequin of a purple-winged serpent called Lockheed. Turns out the hand mannequin tumbled off while she was being alleviated final evening. She additionally says that Limbo is a domain made by her and Lockheed in those days. In the control room, Dr. Reyes accepts Donnie's assessment results from her bosses, which is the Essex Corporation. She is requested to gather Donnie's DNA and afterward euthanize her since she is viewed as the most grounded and wild freak that can hurt them. As Reyes ties her down on a cart, Donnie's frenzy makes her powers go haywire. In another room, Illyana and Sam are assaulted by actual signs of Illyana's youth victimizers, the Smiling Men. In the meantime, Donnie's voice calling for help is heard by Ron, making her dubious and quickly searching for her. Luckily, Donnie actually can utilize her powers to find Dr. Reyes' actual goals before Ron shows up down the middle. Wolf structure and batters Dr. Reyes, constraining her to escape from the room. Simultaneously, Sam meets with Roberto who is attempting to get through the medical clinic's external boundary which has now contracted in width. Every one of them pull together in Dr. Reyes' office and understand that Dr. Reyes was preparing them to be professional killers for Essex. To get away, they should kill her to deny the power fields of their power source. Utilizing Ron's feeling of smell, they figure out how to go up against Dr. Reyes, who cautions them that Donnie is excessively strong and will annihilate them all. She then, at that point, confines them all with power fields. At the point when she attempts to kill Donnie again by suffocating her with a power field, the evil spirit bear which is Donnie's own biggest apprehensions appeared through her power, out of nowhere shows up and eats up Dr. Reyes, making Donnie renders oblivious. Illyana then, at that point, utilizes her superpowers to head out to Limbo, where she recovers a sparkling sword, covering, and a minuscule actual appearance of Lockheed to fight Demon Bear, while Ron attempts to reach through to Donnie's inner mind and urges her to awaken. Ultimately, Sam and Roberto additionally join the battle, as well as Ron, however all without any result. Meanwhile, Donnie is visited by her dad's soul, who urges her to confront her biggest dread. As a result of it, she stirs and goes up against the Demon Bear, quieting it down and hence scattering it. Eventually, the bunch discovers that the power field encompassing the whole office has vanished. They choose to leave the spot and search for the closest town. Buy in to observe more recordings like this, turn on notices, and pass on a like to take care of the channel. Thank you for watching.